Hey, good weekend, everybody. Bob Trade Genius back again here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about we've had these couple really big earthquakes happening out in the high desert at the entrance to the Owens Valley, and I talked about this before a couple weeks ago, and this just kind of plays into my thesis, and not just my thesis. It's a growing body of seismologists and geologists are feeling the same way. California literally, there used to be a joke, California is going to fall into the sea. Well, actually, California is going to probably turn into a massive island as it moves north over the next couple 100,000 years. And so I'm going to zoom in on this map in a second. But so what's happening here, if this went all the way down to Baja, there has been a separation of the Baja Peninsula from the mainline Mexican landmass, and it's been pivoting out and north. And so the prevailing wisdom was that as it pushes north, it creates these series of valleys and escarpments. And I live on one right closest to the ocean here. Right behind me is the Mission San Juan Capistrano. Got hit with a 7 plus. They think it was because of the Newport Inglewood fault that runs down and then turns into the Rose Canyon fault down into San Diego, which has potential to a 9.0 earthquake because there was one that hit already in San Diego City proper. So San Diego City proper can experience a 9.0 earthquake, which would just pretty much devastate the city, the state, and probably put a good hurting on the country. But I digress. So you're having these crinkles coming as it moves north, but if you notice here, everything's kind of getting stuck. And then there's also a fault line called the Garlock Fault that comes across Santa Barbara here. Is that, and this is an old fault line. In recorded history. There's not been a major earthquake sitting on it. So it's called a transverse fault. It's transversing at a right angle to the main flow of the plates. And so what's been happening here is that we're starting to see more and more major earthquakes coming up this way here. So the new thinking is that you're going to start seeing more and more earthquakes here. You're going to see less and less here. And some of their first clues is that this area here has been absolutely dead quiet since like 1853 on the San Andreas. There's been the North Ridges here. It's on a different thrust fault, and in Parkfield they on a clock they've been getting a 6.0 earthquake. That stopped, and so and that's what started getting people thinking, something's changed here. And then all of California went quiet for a long time. And in 1992 we had the quake in Landers, and that's where I'm going to zoom in right now. So here's the Coachella Valley. This is where Palm Springs is. This is the Banning Pass coming into the LA megalopolis, and here's the San Andreas right here. And so there's a San Jacinto fault coming into it here. And so everybody's expectation was that the next major earthquake is going to hit in here because it's a sticking point. There's been nothing here. They're thinking there's an opportunity here, but where the quakes actually been happening is out in here. This is where the Landers quake happened, 7.3 I think it was. I lived in San Diego at the time. It rocked our house, and then I moved up to Southern Orange County, and the quake that just hit is right up to 395 here in Ridgecrest, and this area here had a 6. I guess they downgraded to 6.9, a 6.4, and a 6.9, and it's breaking through hard rock, and so they don't think this is going to be done anytime soon. So now you have this action happening that is coming up this way, and this whole area now I think is going to come into motion. Now, good news, bad news, right? The good news is that if all this action's happening out here, is that it's going to spare the LA area too. The other thought is that maybe this whole area is going to start lighting up and getting a lot more active, which I think we're going to get a little bit of both actually. The ring has been favorable to California for a long time, and the impulses might be changing here a little bit. And so here's the fault coming out, and then we've had Santa Barbara had huge earthquakes, and we've had also down here Long Beach has had a big earthquake too. So all these areas are lighting up. The other area that's been out, you can't see it here, is we've been getting some earthquakes off of where San Clemente Island. I mean, this is San Catalina Island, the San Clemente Island. These are sitting on also on scarps that are fronting fault lines. So this whole area might be starting to wake up here, and so it's going to be really, really interesting to see. But at the end of the day, what I think this thing's going to come out is that you're going to get a big earthquake. I mean, a big fault line running through here, and then they're thinking that it's going to come across right underneath the volcano belt where Shasta is. So the thing is going to come across, come through here, and then have a break in towards back into the coast again, and then come out during the area where these fault lines all run together in Humboldt County. So keep an eye on this to start seeing some action all the way across, and you're going to start seeing some more ripples and rumples up here too. So fun times, but California's leaving the United States. Just won't happen in the next election. So sorry for the false advertising. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.